what a game!
I think I'll perplex him with my slow ball.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
Third time's a charm. Ground ball hit to short. Out at second, and the ball by LeMahieu at first. And the Rays are going to add to their lead. Adames and Zunino both score. Boy, there was a double play in the making right there.
Now down to Zunino.
Yankees lose.
And live from the WQAQ studio at Quinnipiac University, you're listening to Infinite Sports Radio on this Tuesday evening. I thank you for joining us. And, you know, judging by that amazing intro that we just had, it is my pleasure to welcome back to the studio, after a 2-week absence, my co-host, Ben Upson.
And good evening, everybody! How are we? Glad to be back with you, Kenny.
Yeah, we made it work those last 2 weeks, but, it's a lot better when, you got the both of us in the studio. So, we got this week and we got next week, and that's it. That might be it, for the semester. Because finals week is the following week, and depending on what the schedule is, it's either going to be next week or the following week will be the last show for the year, which is incredible. The year went by really fast. There was a lot of twists and turns, but, here we are. So with tonight, there's a lot of stuff we got to get into. We're going to start off the show by talking about the Yankees, and how pathetic they've been this past weekend. And they are currently in progress right now, starting a 2-game set with the Atlanta Braves at Yankee Stadium. So we'll give you some live updates with that. We'll get into some Mets stuff because the Mets had a good weekend in Colorado, getting good pitching from Jacob deGrom and Marcus Stroman. We'll get into that. Kind of talk about what, the first 2 weeks of baseball has brought us, or 3 weeks, whatever it's been. Get into some other stuff. Alex Smith announcing his retirement from the NFL. We'll get into that a little bit. We'll get into stuff with the NBA and, whatever else we feel like talking about for these full 2 hours.
Quickly, before we get into this, Kenny, we just have to get this audio up quickly. We have to mention it at least for a minute. Of course, this afternoon in Minneapolis was a landmark trial decision in the Derek Chauvin trial, of course. And the verdict was found, you'll hear the audio here, but he has been found guilty on all charges for the death of George Floyd on 3 separate counts. Second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. And in 8 weeks, he will have a sentence, and he can face up to potentially 75 years in prison. So here is the audio clip of the verdict ruling from earlier this afternoon. Take a listen.
Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court File Number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, Juror Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict Count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by Jury Foreperson, Juror Number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m.
And so, as you heard there, of course, this was a landmark ruling, and although there is definitely still, a lot of work to be done in terms of, these very sensitive racial injustice occurrences, this is definitely a step in the right direction, Kenny, and it definitely does feel like some justice was served this afternoon in Minnesota.
Yeah, definitely. I think, how you look at the situation, it was definitely, for me, it was definitely bad on both fronts. It was definitely bad policing. It was, bad on Mr. Floyd's part as well for, resisting arrest. But you know what? He did not deserve for his life to be taken. There's a lot of stuff that went into this case. A lot of people really were, invested in it. The sports world was really invested in it as well. But I just think that, you could feel that if it didn't go the way certain people wanted it to, that there was going to be massive violence in the cities. And, when you think about that, it's kind of disturbing to think about it. And you hope that, the jury wasn't, forced to make this decision, knowing that, they make the wrong decision and you end up having, massive uproars in our main cities, which we saw over the summer after what occurred in Minneapolis. The guy does not deserve to be a cop anymore. I mean, he's going away. I think he definitely did deserve to be punished for it. But I think for people, we have to put things into perspective and, kind of be open-minded about the entire situation and not be focused on one specific narrative. We've come a long way as a country, and there's a lot that we could do to improve. And, hopefully it continues to improve and we don't have to keep dealing with this. But like I said, I think people got to put things into perspective and understand that, you're looking at two different sides of this situation. You have to look at both sides of the situation. Now, again, I'm not saying that, Mr. Floyd deserved to die at the hands of the police, which many people say. It was a disgusting act. But, we got to just, like I said, we got to put things into perspective and, just continue to educate ourselves, do some research, and, look at the entire thing and not focus on one specific area. Because, for me, I want to know everything. I don't want to just know one specific detail and dictate my opinion on that. But you know what? A lot of people are very happy about this. It's good. It's good for the people that wanted justice. They want more for that. But it's like I said. It's just kind of have an uneasy feeling when you know that if it went the other way, that there could be massive chaos in the streets. And that's something that I don't particularly find comforting. But, let's just hope that this doesn't continue to happen. Try to be optimistic. But, who knows? But I'm hoping that, with this and, everything going on with the pandemic, we can, start a new chapter and maybe, get back to work and, better the country. So.
Very well said, Kenny. Absolutely. I would echo those points as well. And yeah, let's just hope for better times ahead. Absolutely.
Yeah, kind of taking a completely different, turning to a completely different subject. So
Yes.
the Yankees now are trailing the Atlanta Braves 1-0 in the top of the third now on and I can't even pronounce his name, Andrizia, whatever his name is.
Yes, Adrianza, I think it is. I don't know.
Yeah, double.
It's something like that.
Yeah, so Braves are up 1-0. Freddie Freeman at the plate, top of the third.
And here we go again, Kenny.
Yeah, so let's kind of get into our baseball team here. So the Yankees now have dropped, 5 straight?
8 of their last 10.
8 of their last 10 now.
They've lost, 3 of their 4 series? So far this
the
year?
only series that they've won was the 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. So they got swept by the Rays, 10-5 on Friday, 4-0 on Saturday. Oh wait, no, this is from last week. But since we were last on, they have not won a game. They lost 7-3 to the Blue Jays on Tuesday last week. Then they lost 5-4.
That's right. Bo Bichette had a walk-off home run in that game.
And then Friday they lost 8-2, 6-3 on Saturday, and then 4-2 on Sunday. They had an off day yesterday. As a Yankee fan, I'm very concerned. Now I understand that it's early, and we got 162 game. It's a 162 game season. There's a lot of baseball left to be played, but I'm very concerned with this team. I really am. The pitching really hasn't lived up to what I was hoping it was going to be, because I did see some signs in spring training, but then again, you could say, well, that's spring training for you. And, it had really, the pitching outside of Garrett Cole has not panned out. Domingo Germán has been terrible. He was sent down and then they brought him back. Tyone and Kluber have not given us the innings that, we were hoping they were going to give the Yankees. And Jordan Montgomery, he looked promising in his first start, and then he has struggled since then. And Garrett Cole pitched very well on Sunday, and he got the loss because, once again, the Yankees cannot score. This is not good, what is happening right now. And I was watching something on MLB Network, and Joel Sherman said, could it be that teams maybe know how to pitch to this lineup? And, that's something that I've thought about, because think about it. The Yankees have gone to October, and once they get to October, they can't hit. And, it's concerning that, we're now 16 games into the regular season, and this team is 5-10, and they're like at the bottom in terms of team statistics. And I think on base, let's see. Oh, yeah, they're last in OPS. They are last in slugging. They are 23rd in on-base percentage. They are... I'm trying to see what else. Can't find it for some reason on here. Okay, they're 26th in RBIs. In home runs, they are 21st. Batting average, they are 26th. And let's see, runs scored 25th. In walks, they are 9th. So, I mean, they're getting on base when it comes to, working the count. But other than that, there's really nothing that really jumps out at you with this team. They can't hit. They cannot hit. I mean, that's the bottom line. They can't hit, and their starting pitching does not give them length. And that's been a problem for the last several years now. They don't have starters that give them length. That's why, when we always talk about how great their bullpen is, well, their bullpen is going to get overworked because none of these guys give you length. And, it is something that we talked about leading up to this. The Yankees have a lot of options at starting pitcher. Outside of the guys that they have in the rotation right now, Davy Garcia, Michael King has showed you stuff in relief. I mean, they did the opener the other night with Nick Nelson, and that did not work out. So they do have some options, and obviously Luis Severino is still, ways away from coming back, but, all signs point to him, coming back and hopefully being a part of this rotation and giving us, more stability. And as we're looking at the Yes Network broadcast right now, Garrett Cole, 1.82 ERA, the other starter, 6.39 ERA. And Tyone strikes out Ozuna to end the inning, so the Braves just scratch across 1 run. Yankees still have not had a hit yet in this game, and they're going up against Charlie Morton, who just kills the Yankees every time we face him. The Yankees just can't hit him. I mean, when you look at the guys in the lineup right now, LeMahieu right now is batting .281. Judge is batting .250. Gardner .231. Stanton 173, Torres 192, Sanchez is batting .237, Urshela is batting .250. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. And you know what? The Yankees, they changed up their lineup today. They got Gardner playing center, batting third. Mike Ford has now made his return, and he is batting 6th in the lineup, and Mike Tauchman is batting 9th, playing left field. In for Clint Frazier and Jay Bruce, who announced his retirement, so he's gone. And honestly, I mean, he was terrible. You know, no offense to Jay Bruce, I know that he definitely tried, but you know, he just was not the Jay Bruce that we were hoping. He would be some form of the former Jay Bruce that he was when he was with the Reds, and his few stints with the Mets.
Yeah, we obviously still can't forget that he had multiple 30-homer seasons, but
yeah, he was a 3-time All-Star.
It's just a matter of, I think, age was catching up to him, because wasn't he 34? I think he was like 33,
yeah, it was something
34.
like that. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then the other guys, Hicks is batting 160 on the year. Odor, who they required from Texas, 125 batting average, and Clint Frazier is batting 167. So. Yeah, the lineup is just it's not good. It's not good. Talking about it on the show, I said the bigger concern for them is the lineup, because I just feel like they have no balance in their lineup. And I just think that, all they benefit from is the home run. And, like I said, they're 21st in home runs right now. This is not good. It's really not good. I mean, you got guys, like I said, Stanton and Hicks and Torres and Clint Frazier. They all look lost. I mean, they look like they don't know what they're doing. And it just seems like this team, there's no fire in this team. There's no passion. It doesn't seem like there's a sense of urgency from this team. And it just seems like they're lifeless. And, going back to 2017, a team that didn't have any expectations was going into the playoffs. With house money, they weren't expected to be there. That team played with passion. And a lot of the guys that are on the team now were on that team back then. So I don't understand what changed. It's not good. It really isn't good. I'm really concerned. I said from the moment we got him, Giancarlo Stanton, I said we didn't need him. I think it was a trade that worked out because we didn't have to give up much for it. But he really has been dreadful since we got him. I mean, other than the postseason last year, and the first year that we had him, he drove in 100 runs and had 30 home runs. He's been a disaster. He's really been a disaster. It doesn't seem like he fits the criteria that is needed to play in New York. And Yankee fans are growing impatient with him. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I'm not like these bozos that are throwing stuff on the field on Saturday and booing him every time he strikes out. Like, that's not me. But I mean, I've been done with him. Okay, I mean, yeah, he gives me he gives us good moments, and you're happy he does it. But like when he produced in the postseason last year. But other than that, he really just hasn't done anything. He doesn't play the field. I mean, he's batting 160 or whatever I said before. He's just not good. He has not been good for the Yankees overall. And it happens. You bring in a guy that's a star player. He hit 59 home runs the season before we got him. And it hasn't panned out. And I think we got to go in a different direction. I think really overall with this team, I think if the Yankees don't turn it around and they don't make the playoffs, I think they really got to consider, blowing it up. Not getting rid of everybody, but getting rid of a large chunk of who they have on their team, particularly in their lineup, because The guys that we have in our lineup are just going up there to hit home runs. That's it. You know, we don't have guys that are trying to just get on base and, you know, move the line. You know, we got guys that are going up there just trying to hit 30 home runs and strike out 100 times. That's what it's been the last several years now. And it has to change. You know, I mean, if the Yankees want to compete and win a championship, they got to start playing better. I mean, there's really nothing you could do at this point. I mean, they're trying something new with, you know, starting Tauchman, starting Gardner, and starting Mike Ford to put some balance in the lineup. But, I mean, so far, Gio Urshela has gotten a hit. I think that's going to be a double for Urshela. He's going for 2, and he's going to make it with a double. Okay, so they got Urshela at second, 1 out. Yankees first hit of the game. Yeah, so at least we know that they're not going to get Charlie Morton's not going to throw a perfect game or a no-hitter against them. Yeah, but you know, if it doesn't do anything, I mean, there's really nothing you can do. Now, the interesting thing is on Sunday we were watching the Cubs-Braves game on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, and Buster Olney, I believe, brought up an interesting point that, you know, the Cubs, they could blow it up themselves. Like, they might trade everybody depending on where they are when we get to the trade deadline, which I think they moved to what, August? They moved it to August. It's not July 31st anymore. It's like August something now.
Is it August 31st now? Or maybe it's August 15th. I don't know. It's sometime in August.
Yeah,
though?
it's sometime. It's sometime in August now. It's not July 31st. But anyway, so they brought up the fact that, you know, they were talking about Anthony Rizzo, and they said, you know, one possible suitor could be the Yankees. You know, Anthony Rizzo's not a guy that's gonna go up there and hit a home run every time he's up. What they were saying, he's a left-handed bat, and he could, you know, be produced on the Yankees. And, you know, I'm like, yeah, he can, but, you know, what does that mean for Luke Voit when he comes back? You know, what are you going to do then? You know, then you got to move some guys around then. Which I thought it was interesting. I think Rizzo could be a fit, but I mean, we have Luke Voit, and Luke Voit led the league in home runs, or the American League in home runs, at least last year. You know, so I mean, I don't want to move off of Voit. But, again, this team lacks balance in its lineup. So, you know, they got to do something. And Urshela tags up from second on a Mike Tauchman flyout. So he's at third now with 2 outs. So Yankees got the tying run 90 feet away. Here in the bottom of the third with DJ LeMahieu up.
Which they won't get home.
Yeah, now and then they're showing LeMahieu
at least
getting
DJ's up. DJ's up.
Getting the Silver Slugger Award. You know, listen, DJ LeMahieu has been amazing since the Yankees got him. I'm really happy. We're both really happy they retained him. A lot of Yankee fans are. But he has not produced this year either. I mean, he's not having as bad of a season as, like, everybody else is having right now. But he's just, something's off with him too. I mean, with runners in scoring position, he's just terrible. He hasn't done anything. I mean, the Yankees collectively as a team with runners in scoring position haven't done anything. And, you know, it's just very concerning that this is happening in the regular season, because we expect this team to hit in the regular season. But the problem is when we get to October, that's when everything just completely shuts off. Now, the thing with the Yankees is they've only played teams in their division. The Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Rays. And the Yankees have only won 1 game against the Rays this year. They're 5-6 against them. Actually, no, what am I saying? 1-5 against them. Sorry.
Yes, they've lost 5 of 6.
Yeah. 5 of 6. Yeah.
No. The Yankees' track record with the AL East: 2-1 against the Orioles. They're one bright spot. 2-4 against Toronto. 1-5 against Tampa. And now they start, like we just have been talking about,
matchups.
Interleague. Yep.
Yeah. So they can't beat the Rays. That is really their biggest problem right now, is they cannot beat the Rays.
There's no Blake Snell and no Charlie Morton. Still can't beat them.
No.
You let Michael Walker.
Yeah, yeah, 2013. Yeah, I mean, what is this? 2013 with Michael Wacha? I mean, come on. You know this. If you can't beat the Rays, I mean, like, how are you going to win this division? I mean, right now the Rays are not in first place. The Red Sox are, and they're off to a great start. And LeMahieu, yep, there it is, strikes out. So again, a runner in scoring position. LeMahieu cannot drive him in. You know, they can't beat the Rays. And, you know, Paul O'Neill said, yeah, the Rays, you know, after the 3-game sweep, you know, he was saying, oh, the Rays, they were not scared of the Yankees. I mean, why would they be scared of the Yankees? All the Rays have done since, you know, the last couple of years now is beat the Yankees. I mean, I think really after the 5-game series where the Rays beat them, I think the Rays just think they could beat the Yankees anytime, anywhere. And the Yankees just have no answers for them. I mean, if you look at these teams, you look at their lineups, you look at their rotations, I mean, on paper, you're like, well, the Yankees have the better team. Well, then how come the Yankees can't beat them? It's pathetic. It's really pathetic, and it's just, I don't know how they're going to fix it. I really don't. I just think that, you know, this is going to be a problem throughout the season. I think the Yankees are going to turn it around, and this is me being optimistic. I think they're going to turn it around. But I said they were going to win the World Series this year, and listen, that had a lot to do with being biased. But, you know, they do not look like a team that is a contender. The best aspect of their team right now is the bullpen, which, you know, when healthy, that bullpen is one of the best in baseball, and has been so far this year. It's been amazing. But if the lineup and the rotation don't get their acts together, it's not going to matter how good that bullpen is. Yankees starters got to give them length, and the offense has got to start scoring some runs. Because if they don't, this team's going nowhere. And I won't be surprised if it goes nowhere. I won't. Because we've seen this story before now. It doesn't matter if they get to October. It doesn't matter if they win 100 games this year. If they are not holding up the trophy by the end of the year, this season is a failure. And, you know, I don't know what they're going to do. And honestly, I think it's going to take them to miss the playoffs for there to be real change with this team. Because Aaron Boone, listen, he's just another analytics guy. I mean, the guys upstairs are telling him what to do. I mean, that's what it's like in baseball really all over the place now. It's all about analytics. It's not about instinct. It's not about your gut feeling. It's about how does this guy, how will this guy perform against this guy in this type of situation? It's all formulas and all numbers and stuff. It's not, you know, it's just not like, all right, who gives me the best chance to win? It's all a numbers game now. And it's not. This is not how baseball should be played. If you have you got to put faith in the guys that you have on your team. You got to pick out who gives you the best chance to win. And if one of your starters is doing good, you keep him in there. It doesn't matter what his pitch count is at. And you know what? At least the other day, you know, Cole was at like 101 pitches or whatever. He was slightly over 100 pitches or whatever. They put him out there for the 7th. Now, I knew when that happened. I'm like, well, this is where he's gonna fold and he's gonna give up a run and he's gonna lose because of that. And again, it's not Garrett Cole's fault. He pitched great. He's been their best starter. I mean, we talked about it. But you know, you could just kind of tell. But at least Boone put him out there and was not like, you know, I'm going to take him out, even though he's doing amazing. You know, like, you know, what the Mets did with DeGrom on opening day for the Mets. You know, taking DeGrom out after 77 pitches. And you lose because of that. And you know what? You deserve to lose. You deserve to lose because of that. And you know what? When the Yankees did that in the playoffs with Davy Garcia and they took him out and put in J Happ, the Yankees deserve to lose that game. Because they're trying to say, oh, well, you know, analytics. We're smarter than you. Well, the Rays are smarter than you. And you know what? The Rays are a better team than you. They are. The Rays are a better baseball team than the New York Yankees. And they have been for the last 2 years now. And like I said, I don't know how they're going to fix it. I have no idea. I don't know what they can do. Because this team is not built to play small ball. It's all just get guys on base and hit a 3-run homer. Has not worked this year. And if it's true that teams have finally caught up to the Yankees and they know how to pitch around these guys, well, then the Yankees are screwed. They are screwed. So they got to figure it out. There's plenty of games left to be played. We're only in April. But you know what? You could say, well, it's the beginning of the season. These games don't matter. Well, guess what? If you miss the playoffs by a couple games, like I've talked about with the Mets, if they missed a couple, they got off to a rough start and then, they missed the playoffs by a game. And the same thing applies with the Yankees. You get off to this 5-10 start, you miss the playoffs by 1 or 2 games, those games are going to matter in the beginning. And, if you look at the American League right now, nobody's really running away with it. Now, if you turn it over to the National League, the Dodgers are they're unbelievable. I mean, they are they are on another planet. I mean, they might repeat. Okay, I don't want to say they definitely are, but right now they look like they're going to repeat. I mean, the rotation, the bullpen to the lineup, I mean, they got everything.
Kenny, before you jump into the Dodgers, I just wanted to say a couple quick things about the Yankees to reinforce your points. You made some fantastic analysis out of that, and you really hit on just about everything, I think, what's going on right now. This is the Yankees' worst start since 1997, which was during the four World Series titles in 5 years, the one year that they didn't get a title because they won in 96, and then, of course, 98 through 2000. That was the one off year. The Yankees aren't used to these kinds of slow starts. Yes, in previous years they've had slower starts, but this is exceptionally slow for their standards and for the fan base's standards. And, 5-10. It's like John Heyman tweeted out after that loss on Sunday that the record may say 5-10, but it feels a heck of a lot worse. And, I mean, I haven't crunched the numbers, but the Yankees cannot be averaging more than, 3 runs per game. They can't be. They are struggling to score right now. The bats are cold, indeed. I mean, you just look at the big names in the lineup. DJ LeMahieu, who's been, very consistent in recent years. He's 276. Aaron Judge, 250. Giancarlo Stanton is 173. Flat out miserable. 18 strikeouts. And actually, he's had a strikeout already tonight. So 19 strikeouts for him on the season. Gleyber Torres is under 200 now, 192. He's got 1 RBI on the season. Gary Sanchez has actually, been all right. Okay, he had a couple homers in opening weekend. He came out a little hot out of the gates. He's cooled off a little bit since, but he's actually been more of a bright spot for the Yankees. 231. Gio Urshela has a hit tonight. Hopefully, things go back in the right direction for him. He had a little bit of a cold start. He's up to 264 now. I like the switch up, by Boone to put in Mike Ford and Mike Tauchman. Like, that's really what the Yankees just need to start doing right now, I think. Any shift, because clearly things haven't been working with the lineup that we've had. So maybe this does something, get a little, bench, a little bit of a bench shift. But the rotation absolutely is an issue, and it's got to be addressed. I mean, look, Garrett Cole is clearly the best pitcher in this rotation. It's not even a question, at least right now. Of course, things could change, absolutely. We're 15 games into a 162-game schedule. But between Jameson Taillon and Corey Kluber, who the Yankees, of course, pursued in the offseason, they've not lived up to expectations. Of course, Corey Kluber is on the decline. He's been plagued with injuries, and he's getting older. He's not the Cleveland Indians Corey Kluber. That was a much different Corey Kluber. I was optimistic, but so much for that right now. And look, Jameson Taillon has had Tommy John surgery. Actually, I think he may have had 2. But, you know, I get he's young, and he's been out in Pittsburgh. Boy, talk about a team that's been known for producing some big-name pitchers in other cities. You got Garrett Cole, Jameson Taillon, Joe Musgrove, who's going crazy on the Padres. It's funny how the Pirates have given up so many good pitchers to other teams. But, yeah, Jordan Montgomery has definitely not had a great start to this year either. And, you know, Domingo Germán was optioned about 10 days ago to an alternate site after he had 2 pretty bad starts. I heard supposedly he's getting called back up in the coming days. But where's David Garcia? I don't get why David Garcia isn't on this team right now. You know, Carton and Roberts were talking about it yesterday on WFN. I mean, where is he? Davy Garcia, you know, pitched in the postseason last year for the Yankees. And, you know, overall, I mean, you look at the numbers, I mean, they weren't really too bad for a young guy like him. Of course, he's only 21 years old, you know, very young. Sure, the ERA was a little bit inflated, you know, 4.98. He went 3-2, pitched 34 innings, 33 strikeouts, gave up 19 earned runs on the season. His strikeout per 9 ratio wasn't too bad, 8.7. I mean, really, Davy Garcia was actually pretty good for the time that we saw him last year. And, of course, this was when the Yankees' offense was producing, too. So, you know, that's why I think he had a winning record there in those 6 appearances. But it really begs the question, where is he? And then, of course, Brian Cashman addressing the media yesterday. Did anybody seriously think that he was going to come out and bash the team? Absolutely not. Why would he? There were people out there who were expecting more than what he said yesterday. And basically what happened was he just came right out and defended Boone and the team, you know, just shaking it off like, yes, it's a 15-game stretch. Yes, we have to improve. But it's getting to a point, Kenny, like we've been discussing, that it's not going to be enough of an excuse. It's soon enough, we could be at the 25-game mark, and the Yankees might not even have 10 wins. If this keeps up, we could get well into May. Are the Yankees going to be back to 500 by the end of May? I mean, when is this team going to wake up? Because it's lifeless. We have a team on the other side of New York in the Mets playing with much more heart than what this team is right now.
Well, they're also getting better starting pitching.
That is correct. The Yankees don't have that advantage, unfortunately. Now, if they had better starting pitching, sure, they'd be better than 5-10, of course. But the offense, especially, is just a big concern because on paper, I mean, this team was picked to run away in the AL East by MLB.com experts and get upwards of 95 wins by a lot of people. And it's not looking like that right now. Look, the way I see things is, you know, you drop 3, 4, maybe 5 games, okay? That's a skid. If it gets beyond that, it's a concern. And the Yankees have dropped 8 of their last 10, and they've lost 5 straight. And they're down 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning with Aaron Judge at the plate in an 0-2 count. Will he strike out? Seems likely. But the key thing, and this is another thing from Carton and Roberts, it seems like right now, the way things are going, that whenever the Yankees go down 1-0, even 2-0, it seems like they're down 8-0. It feels that every time the Yankees fall behind in a game right now, that deficit is insurmountable. even if it's 1 or 2 runs. And that's a problem. That's a problem. There's 0 run support right now, and the Yankees can't get runners across the plate. 1-0 feels like 11-0. Put an extra 1 next to it. That's what it feels like right now for this team. And something's got to change, because if this keeps up, the Yankees can already, fade those World Series hopes right now, because they shouldn't have that on their mind right now. Right now, it's all about getting back to 500, winning games. That's really what it's about at the moment. And Kenny, absolutely, there's championship expectations. There was going into the season. So many people were like, if it's not Yankees, Dodgers, what's going on? The Dodgers aren't having a problem. Dodgers-Padres felt like the NLCS this past weekend. What a series that was. In the Saturday game, Mookie Betts made an incredible diving play. The Padres had 2 on with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th, down 2-0. He ended that game. Friday night, the game went 12 innings. The Dodgers put up 5 in the top of the 12th to win 11-6. And then Sunday, I think the Padres, it was like a 2-run double, and they won that game 5-2. The Dodgers are just fine. The team here on the other side of the country is doing horrific, and it's not good. In my opinion, it's not time to hit the panic button quite yet, but it's getting there, especially if this nonsense keeps up. On paper, this Yankee team should not be 5-10. They should be 10-5 right now. But that's not the case. John Sterling says this all the time. That's baseball, Susan. And you know what? It is what it is. And we'll see what happens from here. Is Aaron Boone going to get on the hot seat down the road? All depends how this team does, I guess. But very frustrating. Very frustrating. And, of course, stay tuned for Ups and Unleashed, because I'm going to discuss what happened with the fan base that happened during Friday's Tampa game.
Yeah, we'll be getting to that in a little under 20 minutes. But what I was going to say was, when you look at you got the Dodgers, who just are the best team in baseball. And then you look at the American League, no one's really running away with it. But you got teams, like, for example, the Oakland A's. They had that horrid start, starting off 0-6. They've won 8 straight and are 9-7 now. The Astros are in last place right now in the division, in the AL West, which is crazy. The Mariners are in first place. The Angels are a game back. The A's are a game back. The Rangers are 2.5, and the Astros are 2.5. So that division's tight right now. Look at the Central. The Royals right now are 9-6. So they're off to a good start. Cleveland's right behind them. Game back of them. The White Sox are 2 games back. The Twins are 2.5 games back. Detroit's 3.5. And then you look at the AL East. The Red Sox, they got a 5-game lead up on the Yankees. So right now the standings are Red Sox, the Rays in second, Orioles and Blue Jays both tied for third at 7-9. 3.5 games back. Yankees 5-10 right now. No one's running away with it right now in the American League. Like, there's no great team on the American League side that, in the early going, you could say can go up against the Dodgers and beat them in a 7-game series. So right now, if you look at it now, the National League right now looks like the better league. It's just very. I know you said don't hit the panic button with the Yankees, but right now we're at the concerning part. It's concerning. This team's got to figure it out. But let's actually talk about the other New York team, the New York Mets. They're in first place right now at 7-4.
That's a real baseball team right now.
Now, the Mets, they've struggled with runners in scoring position, but like I said while you were talking, they've gotten much better starting pitching than the Yankees have. And, the bullpen, is still a concern. And listen, if the Mets, if they want to contend this year, they're probably going to have to get an arm or two at the trade deadline. But, I mean, the thing that really jumped out at me was Marcus Stroman. I mean, he's been off to a great start. Another great outing on Sunday. Is now 3-0 on the season. He went 8 innings, giving up 3 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He's got a .9 ERA right now to start the year. And this is a guy that took the year off, opted out due to COVID. This is a contract year for him. As Giancarlo Stanton works the walk, we got Yankees got runners at first and second now with 1 out, bottom of the 4th. They trail 1-0 to the Braves. But as I was saying with the Mets, you know, Marcus Stroman looks really good. And you have him now paired up with DeGrom. Taijuan Walker has been really good. Peterson, I think, has been okay. And this is without Syndergaard and Carrasco. Now, if you get Carrasco and Syndergaard back to go with DeGrom and Stroman and Walker, the Mets have a really good rotation. And that rotation can take them a long way. Now, the offense still has to, get it going a little bit. Lindor, just hasn't been great so far offensively. Jeff McNeil hasn't been good offensively. Michael Conforto hasn't been that great. I mean, really, their best player right now on offense is Brandon Nimmo, who's got the highest batting average in the league right now. And they're trying to get Dom Smith in the lineup because, he's another guy that can hit. But, it's hard to put him places because really the only position he can play is first base. I mean, they're trying him out in the outfield. But that's not really his position. But, I mean, if you're a Met fan right now, after the events that occurred on opening day for you guys with pulling DeGrom and losing that game, you're sitting at 7-4, and it's right now it's good to be a Met fan. You got to feel a lot better about your team than we do with our team. I mean, you really look at the other teams in this division. I mean, the Phillies, they're 8-8. The Marlins are 7-8. The Braves are 7-9. The Nationals are 5-9. I mean, I really think the Mets are going to win this division. I mean, they should. They have the best. They clearly have the best rotation out of all these teams here. Now, you think the Braves are going to have something to say about it? I think, look, the Phillies, they have shown that, maybe this is going to be a different year for them. I'm disrespecting the Marlins. They're a gritty team. They got pretty good pitching themselves. Max Scherzer was put on the IL. Patrick Corbin gave me negative 26 points in my fantasy league, so he hasn't been off to a good start. So they just kind of seem like they're in a flux right now. I think right now the Mets are the best team in this division. And if they can figure it out with their lineup, they're going to be good. They should be good. So, the combination of getting Syndergaard and Carrasco back, getting some arms at the deadline if you're still in it, and if the lineup can figure it out, if Lindor figures it out and some of their better hitters figure it out, this team is going to be playing in October. I really believe that. They just can't have those hiccups like they did on opening day where you take out a pitcher after 77 and the bullpen malfunctions. That's the concern, the bullpen. They can figure out the bullpen, they're going to be fine. I mean, Diaz, he came in on Sunday, he locked down. He's been off to an okay start. So, maybe he finally turned the corner. Maybe he's not going to implode every time he comes in. I don't know. But if you're a Met fan, you got to feel good about this team. And at the same time, if you're cautiously optimistic, you have every right to be. But enjoy this. Don't try to be like, well, it's a mirage. It's going to be the same old Mets. And yeah, in the past, the Mets have gotten off to good starts and then they just completely collapse. So history does have a tendency to repeat itself. But I think for you guys, just live in the moment. Because, I mean, there's a lot to like about this team. So, and Mike Ford goes down on strikes with 2 guys on base, and the Yankees do not score in their half of the bottom of the 4th. So now we go to the top of the 5th, and now the Yankees are still trailing 1-0. So once again, talking about history repeating itself, the Yankees are repeating themselves by leaving guys in scoring position. But there's a lot to like. Like I said, there's a lot to like about the Mets. I think they get their offense going. If Lindor gets going, they're going to be a good team. And they got to get guys back from injury and get guys like Syndergaard and Carrasco in the rotation, and they're going to have one of the best rotations in baseball if they get all these guys back.
Okay. Oops, have my mic off for a sec. I don't know why. I was letting you take the floor, Kenny. The other team, like I said, on the other side of New York, is playing good baseball right now. Much better than the team in the Bronx. And they head to Wrigley Field this week for a 3-game set with the Chicago Cubs, I believe. But either way, game 1 underway. It's Jake Arrieta against Taijuan
Walker? Yeah.
Taijuan Walker.
Three-game set with the Cubs.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. And obviously Brandon Nimmo has been a great story on offense for this team. He is batting a whopping .447 coming into this game. I don't know what he did in his first at-bat. 0 for 1, so now he's down to .436, but still, 4 RBIs. He's got 17 hits in his last 15 games, which is actually the season because the Mets have only played, he's only played 12 games this season. There you go, 17 of 39, and that's a really good start for anyone. Of course, Nimmo was drafted in 2011 in the first round. He's 28 this season. We'll see if he keeps it up for this Mets team. Obviously, Kenny, you mentioned it. Pitching is a strength right now, the starting rotation specifically. Now, the backside, the bullpen, that's been a bit of a bump in the road in some games for the Mets, but they've started to figure it out. But clearly, Jacob deGrom and Marcus Stroman steal the show in the pitching aspect for this team. deGrom is off to a blazing hot start. He's 1-1 with a .45 ERA, and thank goodness the Mets got him a win, because this poor guy can't catch a break. I mean, unbelievable. In 3 games, he's already got 35 strikeouts in 20 innings pitched. And like I said, that game against the Rockies, very lucky to get a win there. The Mets took that one. I think it was either 3-2 or 4-3. Let's check that out. The first game Saturday, which was
4-3, and then
4-3.
Yeah, 7-2.
Right, 4-3. And Diaz actually struck out the side in that first game on Saturday. Another thing with the Mets, they've been really struggling to get games scheduled. I mean,
that's been terrible. That has been so bad between COVID and the weather.
It rains at Citi Field. It snows out at Coors Field. That's Colorado weather for you. And the Mets, in the first 12 days of the season, had only played 5 games. They've figured it out since then. They're getting their games done now. A little bit of a dry stretch, so to speak, with the weather. No rain, hopefully, for them on their road trip at Wrigley. Before they return home to Citi Field for a rather long homestand starting this weekend. But, Jacob deGrom and Marcus Stroman. Stroman, too, is off to a great start this season. 3-0 with a .9 ERA. He's also tossed 20 innings. And definitely the stars of this rotation right now for the New York Mets. Now, of course, on the backside of things, Edwin Diaz and Jeurys Familia, they can still be a liability for this team.
They love Familia, the Mets.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they do. They keep bringing him back year after year. He's appeared in 4 games already this season, a 3.38 ERA. You take a look at his game logs. He blew up on Tuesday in Philadelphia. That's right. Came into that game, gave up 2 runs, 2 hits in an inning. Otherwise, since then, he's really calmed down. He's only surrendered 3 hits in his last 2 games. And that ERA is coming right down. It gets a little bit fluky, of course, early on since there's not as many appearances. But that evens out. And then Edwin Diaz, of course, he does have 2 saves on the season. Like I said, one of those came against the Rockies over the weekend. But he's off to an okay start, I guess. 1-0 with a 3.18 ERA in 6 games. So, look, the Mets offense has really been good. The averages are a little bit, a little bit below average, at least for the early part of the season. But Alonso putting up 250 right now. Dom Smith, 222. Michael Conforto has not performed well at all. Yes, he leaned in. He's batting 200. Jeff McNeil has had a really rocky start the year, 176. J.D. Davis, of course, 300, but he's only had 10 at-bats so far this season. So, I mean, the Mets rotation is going to have to do a good chunk this year. I think that the offense will eventually find their groove. Some teams just, like I've said before, don't start out as well out of the gate. And, sometimes it takes warmer weather, or once you get into like a month or 2 into the season, you start finding that groove of playing every day after a long off season sometimes. So otherwise, though, good things right now for the Mets. They are 7-3 in their last 10, and they stand atop the NL East with a 1.5 lead over the Phillies at 7-4. So they're playing a little catch up, but they're doing all right now, and definitely much better than the Yankees, Kenny, who still trail 1-0 in the top of the 5th.
But Tyone's pitched good, so that's encouraging. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our baseball talk. We'll get into some basketball stuff. We'll talk about Alex Smith retiring, announcing his retirement. We'll do Ups and Unleashed in the studio for the first time in the past couple weeks. But before we get into the break, shoot it over to my co-host, and he'll give us our Sports Minute. So I'm going to throw it over to Ben to give us the Sports Minute.
Thank you very much, Kenny. And yes, it is just about top of the hour, 8 o'clock. And I'm in front of the mic. It sounds so much better doing this in person. Here we go. We'll start with Major League Baseball. Of course, it looks like everybody's in action tonight except the Pirates and the Tigers, which were postponed earlier today. Currently, Braves up 1-0 on the Yankees midway through the 5th inning. Of course, we mentioned it. Gio Urshela has the only Yankee hit tonight. We'll see if they can get that going. White Sox 3-2 over the Indians in the bottom of the 5th. A's had the bases loaded with 2 outs. They're up 3-0 over the Twins in the bottom of the 4th. D-backs lead the Reds 3-1. Top of the 4th inning, Orioles 5-1 over the Marlins in the top of the 4th. Cardinals, Nationals. Nationals have runners at the corners with 2 out. Bottom of the 3rd, no score there. Phillies 1-0 over the Giants via a Nick Matone RBI double in Philadelphia. And the Blue Jays up on the Red Sox 1-0. Bo Bichette had his 5th homer of the season there. Top of the 4th at Fenway. Mets, Cubs, no score. Top of the 2nd. And the Rays and Royals will get underway shortly. Also later tonight, Astros, Rockies, Rangers, Angels, Brewers, Padres. In the NBA, very thin slate tonight. 2 TNT games tonight. Nets at the Pelicans, of course. No James Harden, who actually was announced today that he will be out indefinitely. No Kevin Durant either. So that game's on TNT. Clippers, Trailblazers will be the other TNT game tonight at 10 o'clock. Otherwise, Knicks leading the Hornets by 2 early on in the first quarter. Magic up 1 on the Hawks about the end of the first quarter. And as I said later tonight, Clippers, Trailblazers, Timberwolves, Kings. And then in the NHL, big slate tonight. A lot of games out there. Of course, a crosstown rivalry. The Rangers and the Islanders back at it again. In this edition, the Islanders are up 2-0 currently early in the second period. Josh Bailey and Brock Nelson, the goal scorers there. Big game for the East Division. Bruins beating up on the Sabres 2-0 midway through the second period. With that one, Connor Clifton and Brad Marchand, the scorers tonight. Panthers 2-1 over the Blue Jackets at the end of the first period. Hurricanes and the Lightning meeting again as part of a back-to-back. No score at the end of the first inning. That could be for first place in the Central tonight. Panthers also trying to get to the top as well. And the Penguins shutting out the Devils 4-0. They just started the second period. And then later tonight, Red Wings at the Stars, Maple Leafs at the Canucks, Ducks at the Kings, Avalanche at the Blues was postponed. As Kenny said, a lot more coming in hour 2. And including, yes, that's right, an in-person Upson Unleashed. How exciting is that? So stay tuned for that. We're coming back on 98.1 WQAQ.
Weed? Weed? Really? You can't smoke weed. Period. Weed. Stay off the weed. Who are you, Snoop Dogg in the green room? I mean, what the hell is going on? You want to sit there and stay on the weed, and you can't stay off the weed. It's stay off the weed. Millions of dollars, and you can't stay off the weed. Get off the weed because you want to smoke some weed. You couldn't stay off the weed. He ain't getting busted for using weed. All 3 of y'all say, oh, it's mine. The weed was mine. Weed. I want to hear that.
All right, and we're back here on Infinite Sports Radio. Today's 420. Celebrated how you would like. That was an interesting thing to play. On our break back or whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. As we were in our break, the Yankees tied the game on a Gio Urshela solo home run. So the Yankees have tied the game now, and they got a runner at first base with 1 out. Aaron Judge up, or 2 outs. I can't even see the screen right now. So Aaron Judge is up with a full count. So the Yankees have tied the game. Good for them. And Judge hits one to shortstop. Swanson throws on to first, and that'll end the inning. But the Yankees tie the game on a Gio Urshela solo home run, so that's good. Jameson Taillon has pitched pretty well to for his start in this game. So that's encouraging. So I'll flip it over to my co-host. He's going to do his segment, Upson Unleashed, finally, after a hiatus, in quarantine, so now we get the live edition in studio. So, Mr. Upson, take it away.
Did I mention I'm angry? He's seething with rage.
Yeah, here we go. So we are back in studio. It's going to be much better doing this in person, all right? Upson Unleashed is back in full throttle, and got a late addition too to the show, so it's even better. Yeah. So as I was alluding to earlier, there's just a couple things really on the agenda tonight. Look, take it whatever way you want, all right? But the New York Yankees, of course, have been underwhelming the entire Major League Baseball organization right now. They really are stinking it up. They're 5-10, and things are going south. And if things don't turn around, well, let's just say this might be a doomed season. And we people were saying this team was going to meet the Dodgers in the World Series. Yeah, Dodgers in 4. How about that? But it all came to a mount over the weekend when the Tampa Bay Rays came to town for the first time this year. And of course, nothing was going right. All right, let's be real. Giving up 4 runs in the 5th inning. Rougned Odor completely missing DJ LeMahieu at first base. He is terrible. I don't know why the Yankees got him in the first place.
Because he's a left-handed bat.
Yeah,
That's
wow.
why. That's the only reason why.
Ooh, a left-handed bat. Let's get a guy who bats, what, like 210 career? Like, let's put him in the lineup. That's a great idea. But I know why they did it. You're right, Kenny. You're right. Yeah. Well, Rougned Odor has been a big disappointment anyways, but that was just one of the very disappointing feats that happened in that game. But it all happened in the 8th inning, I believe it was, when fans from around the stadium decided to chuck baseballs and other items onto the field. What are we doing? It is game number 13 of the season. I get that this team is not good right now. The rotation sucks right now outside of Garrett Cole. There's 5 guys in our lineup batting under 200. But what are we doing throwing stuff on the field right now? If it was game 113, maybe that would be actually acceptable. But this is the 3rd weekend. See, this is what happens with Yankees fans. I'm not a part of that, all right? There's Yankee fans, and then there's extreme fans of the Yankees. And those are the extreme fans. And Kenny can also vouch for this. We're not a part of that. No. Do we get upset about our team? Absolutely. Do we exclaim to others our displeasure about it? For sure. Everyone does. But in no setting should there have been stuff thrown on the field this past weekend at Yankee Stadium. It's disgraceful. Players could get hurt. I'm kind of surprised the umps really didn't pull the players off the field. But I guess it got under control fairly quickly. But it's a disgraceful act by the Yankee fan base. And it's not good. It's not good. But we'll see what happens going forward. Again, as Kenny said, they've tied it up at 1. Maybe it's some FH. We'll see what happens going forward. But they can't win a game to save their lives right now. Dropped 8 out of their last 10. So and then the other big thing, that this past week for the New York Rangers has been really excellent. Understandably, it's against the bottom feeder New Jersey Devils. All right. But really, 4 solid wins. Oh, of course, right as I'm doing this segment. Oh, God. Well, let's just say 4 straight wins for the Rangers against the New Jersey Devils, okay? You think things are getting better, right? The Bruins are, 6 points ahead of you at the beginning of the week. Maybe the Islanders can go up to Boston, get a couple of wins up there. That's funny. That's really funny. Do we really think that was going to happen? So they go up there. The Bruins outshoot them 45-23 in game 1. And that was on Thursday, game 2. They get shut out. They get, all right, that one's more even. 28-25 shots on goal. All right, okay. But the Islanders muster 1 goal in both of those games up in Boston. And of course, right when the Rangers go on their own type of winning streak, the Bruins have to, be in sync with them. Of course they do. I hate that team. They frickin' suck. They ruin everything. And look, there's people out there who are saying that, the Bruins are vulnerable. They're not going to make the playoffs. Yeah, 3 weeks ago they didn't look like they were going to. They were falling in the wrong direction. And now they're winning every frickin' night. They're going to play the Sabres 5 more times? They're up 2-0 already. I said earlier in the Hourly Sportsman, it was Marchand and Clifton, right? The Sabres are terrible. They can't win. They've been winning more lately, but it doesn't matter. They're not going anywhere. They're already eliminated with 4 weeks left in the season. And like I said, right as I'm doing this segment, of course, Brendan Smith scores for the Rangers to make it, 3-1. But yeah, so where was this out of the Islanders? Okay, I guess, apparently, they score better against the Rangers. I guess they got a little bit of a, fire under their butts.
Well, they're the better New York team.
Yeah. No, they are better. They are better. Absolutely, Kenny. No, they are. Look, the Rangers, this is the second straight year that this has happened. Right before COVID last year, the Rangers won, I think, like 7 of 8 games. What's going on now? They've won their last 4. And I think they've won like 7 out of their last 10. And it's not even going to matter. It's ridiculous. In any other division, the Rangers would have a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, let's look at the standings here, okay? So the East is unfair. It's an incredibly competitive division. You got the Capitals at 62 points, Islanders at 60, Penguins 59, Bruins are 56. There's your 4 playoff teams. I like what the NHL did with the divisions, but the East is unfair. It's ridiculous. Then you got the Rangers below that at 52 points, all right? They're 4 points out. Technically 3 games, though, because, of course, they couldn't beat the Bruins earlier in the year. No, of course not. No. And then you got the Flyers, Devils, and Sabres just dwelling underneath. But in any other division right now, all right, the Central, prime example. You got Carolina, Florida, Tampa, 63, 63, 62. Then you got Nashville at 51. Looks like the Rangers would be the 4th place team there. And then in the North, which is all the Canadian teams, you got Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Montreal. Montreal's got 47 points. Rangers would be in there too. And then you look at the West. You got Vegas and Colorado really running away with this division with Minnesota. Nobody's even close to 4th place, which is the Arizona Coyotes. The Coyotes have 45 points. Rangers would be up on them by 7 points. I get it. I understand geography is, that makes the difference. What the NHL used to do before this COVID year is they used to do the top 8 teams from each conference. I like this division idea, honestly, better. I think it gives more competitive play. And for once, you actually have quote-unquote rivalries happening because now the Bruins and the Rangers are in the same division. I don't know what in the heck the NHL, the way they align their actual divisions, the Rangers are playing in the Metro, the Bruins are playing in the Atlantic. What's the difference? Just do East, South, West. I don't care what direction you want to go in. Just make divisions based off of their geographical locations. All right, I get it. It is what it is. The East is extremely talented. I'll give you that, all right? Anthony Mantha has been on fire for the Washington Capitals recently, okay? And who else? Yeah, you got the Islanders, who are really having one heck of a season. Okay, I'll give them that. But, of course, they can't help the Rangers. They got to kill them. So, thanks to them for that.
Well, if the Rangers would have won some more games, they wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, I know. We say it all the time. It happens. So. It's a tease. It's a second-half tease that happens all the freaking time. Yeah, false hope is right. Justin's in the background chiming in under that. Amen to that, kid. FH is right. FH! Get that in your heads, Rangers fans. So, it's a little bit of a, limited ups and unleashed. Who knows? Maybe the Rangers can find a way to come back down 3-1. There's still 5 minutes left in the second period, but, Brendan Smith scoring a little bit of FH. So, it's looking like the Rangers are going to get X'd out of the playoffs yet again. But there's a lot to look forward to with this team. Of course, Vitaly Kravtsov had his first career goal the other night. Igor has actually been okay in goal. I hate how Quinn switches back between Georgiev and Igor. It's stupid. Just stick with one. All right? Just side with one. But doesn't matter. This team is young. They have a lot of talent. And goodness, I hope they should be a cup contender within 3 to 4 years. So that's it, Kenny. That's it. You take the floor. But I'm taking a break. All right.
Yay. Yeah, so that was a good rant. It's good to have him back. Live in the studio. What I will say is I wanted to go back to one of the first things that you were talking about, and that was the Yankee fans throwing stuff at the players on the field on Saturday, I think it was. On Saturday, that was pathetic. That was really pathetic. What happened there? The fact that the Yankee fans were throwing stuff on the field at players was terrible. And I tweeted this out. I said those fans were those kinds of Yankee fans that say we got 27 rings. And that is a fan that I am not. I do not go around parading, oh, the Yankees have 27 championships, because, they aren't, that's not me. That's not what I do. And, the fact that the Yankees, the umpires really handled that terribly. They really handled that terribly. They should have took everybody off the field. I mean, the outfielders were moving in. They were getting ready to, go back into the dugout. But they just, they didn't do anything. And it was just, it was pathetic. It really was pathetic to see that. I mean, I know we're playing bad, but, I mean, come on. Somebody's going to get hurt. And it's terrible. And then also, let's not forget the Yes Network. I mean, like the Yes Network, they I don't know, they had a rough weekend too. I mean, you had the audio, you couldn't hear what the broadcasters were saying, and you couldn't hear what they were saying, and like it was ridiculous.
Juega de New York Yankees.
Yeah, you had the Spanish network playing on in the background. It was really weird. I thought I was losing my mind. I really did. But
hang on, I'll pull up that audio, Kenny.
Okay, yeah. So as Ben is pulling that up, I really thought I was losing my mind, but I saw it on Twitter, and that reassured me that I wasn't going crazy. So I don't know. And then they were talking about like how nobody was saying anything for 5 minutes during the broadcast, and it just was it was weird. I mean, is it because everybody's depressed about how bad the Yankees are doing? I don't know. I really don't know. It's terrible. It's really terrible. The Yankees are playing bad, and the announcers are just having a rough time too. Did you find the audio?
I got it. This is funny. Before Friday's game, it bled into.
Oh, it's Friday's game. Okay.
Yeah, it bled into the Yes Network feed.
Muy buenas noches. Una vez más, el saludo cordial les llega desde Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that was. I really thought I was losing my mind. It was. I was like, what is going on? I don't know what happened. And then Meredith Marakovich started talking, and then they fixed it. But I mean, somebody's got to get fired for that.
We got the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
dude, people were calling in to Carton and Roberts. They're like, I couldn't find my SAP button. I thought I was freaking out.
Yeah, I know that was exactly. I'm like last time I checked, I didn't change the language on my TV, and I don't even have the. I just have the regular Samsung TV because I just have the cable hooked up with the splitter. I don't have a cable box or anything. So I'm like, I didn't hit anything. But, like I said, it was very reassuring that I was not the only one that dealt with that. But that was really bad. Everything Yankees related has been off to a rough start. All right, so kind of transitioning from baseball, let's kind of get into one of the top stories. Alex Smith, the longtime quarterback, he retired. He finished his previous season with the Washington football team. Many people didn't think Alex Smith was going to play again. And the fact that, he was able to come back and overcome all this adversity that he faced, after suffering that horrid injury against the Houston Texans back in 2018, and being able to, help this team win a division. He, of course, didn't start that playoff game. Was Taylor Heineke, but, what a comeback for Alex Smith, really. I remember that classic game against the Saints. That was a memorable playoff game, that divisional game, and that kind of gave Giant fans hope that maybe we could win because if the Giants had to go to New Orleans that year, I mean they would have got blown out probably. But Alex Smith, was the number 1 overall pick in the 2005 draft by the 49ers. Spent majority of his career there, and then was just traded to the Chiefs because the 49ers wanted to go with Kaepernick as their starter, and then, of course, he did get replaced by Patrick Mahomes. So, he did kind of, get replaced by people that were better than him, which kind of, was kind of stinks, but you know what? He was a good mentor, and he was a good locker room guy, and, he was, he had a good career. He really had a good career. He finished with 35,000 yards, 199 touchdowns. 99 career wins, and then plus 2 playoff victories that he had. This is a guy that went through 17 surgeries with that leg injury. I mean, that's crazy. And he was 11-5 as a starter with Washington. So when he played, he would win. So I don't get why he wasn't. They didn't know what to do with him in the beginning with Ron Rivera. They didn't really know what to do with him. They had Haskins starting, and Haskins was not good. And then Alex Smith came in after. Well, they replaced him with Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen replaced Haskins, and then Kyle Allen got hurt. They put in Alex Smith, and Alex Smith, was the main reason why Washington was able to win the division. And it kind of stinks that I was hoping he was going to play more, and supposedly there were rumors that he was possibly going to go to Jacksonville to pair up with Urban Meyer and maybe be a mentor for Trevor Lawrence. So, honestly, I think it's better off that he does retire. I mean, I wish he kept playing, but I think for his health, it's better off that he retires. Spend his time with his family and enjoy the next chapter of whatever he decides to do with his life. So, yeah, I mean, he had a great career. Now, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but, he definitely had a great career. He was a solid NFL quarterback. And, I wish him nothing but the best in retirement, And like I said, the fact that he was able to come back from this horrific injury was incredible. I mean, it was scary that he came. The first game that he came in was against the Rams. And, of course, he's got to deal with Aaron Donald. I think a lot of people were scared about that. The one thing that I wish that stadiums had full capacity, and there was a whole stadium of fans cheering him on when he came back in came in for relief for Washington. That was the one thing I wish, but we couldn't get that. But hey, he got comeback player of the year, and you know what, he deserves it, man. So like I said, kudos to him. I hope that he enjoys the next chapter of his life, and he enjoys retirement, and he can spend the time with his family, and do some things that maybe he wanted to do that he couldn't do while he was playing football. So congratulations on a successful career for Alex Smith.
Kenny, it is very unfortunate, to have to see Alex Smith go. But the fact that this guy even came back on a football field after all this time, going through, 18 surgeries? I believe
17 surgeries.
17. I mean, really, it's unbelievable, that story. And, of course, he played with 3 teams during his career, San Francisco, Kansas City, and ending it with Washington. And now we remember he played in the NFC Championship game, right, in 2011.
Yeah,
against the Giants.
Yeah, against the Giants, yep.
Yeah, when Lawrence Tynes kicked that game-winning field goal. Now, I think Smith's best year was his first year, in Kansas City, when he threw for 23 touchdowns, 3,300 yards. And the interception ratio was down too, 23-7. That's really good. And in his career, he played in 174 games. He went 99, 67, and 1. He threw for about 62% completion percentage, just one shy of 200 touchdowns, and just over 100 interceptions. I mean, really, he did have a really nice career. His best years, of course, came in Kansas City. We'll definitely remember all those. He threw over 4,000 yards in the 2017 season as well. And that was in 15 games. But very, very powerful man that Alex Smith is to overcome all that he had to. And of course, we do know how eerily familiar it was to Joe Theismann's leg injury. And it happened at the same yard line. The same yard line against the same opponent, I think. And
no, not the Lawrence Tynes. The Theismann injury came against the Giants. That was with LT.
Oh, that Oh, that's right. That was LT.
It was on the same day, though. As
Same day.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of, not same opponent. Yeah, it was very creepy how similar, those injuries were. But that's sports for you. It's crazy how some stories like that can align. But obviously his video that he had posted on social media was very, very powerful as well. It honestly makes you emotional, too, just because, like I said, if I had to go through anything that he did, I would have quit football if I were in his shoes. I mean, the doctors even told him that there was a chance that he could die. And sometimes when you hear something like that, it really gives you a call to reality. And you really got to consider, your career options. But obviously, part of the reason that Smith came back was, of course, because of his kids. He wanted his kids to see, dad out there on the field. So, and now that they're old enough to at least sort of, remember that. I think his oldest kid is 7. So it's really a heartwarming story that Alex Smith came back in a football game. So he will be missed, of course, after 16 years in the league. And yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. It looks like perhaps Taylor Heineke could be at the helm now. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, of course, is now there. So see what Washington decides to do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they go. I mean, they're going to be. I think they're going to be a good team this year. They're going to be better than last year. Now, I don't know, Fitzpatrick. He's a gunslinger, so he's going to be throwing the ball all over the place. He could throw for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, and then he'll have a game where he throws under 200 yards, no touchdowns, and like 4 picks. So I don't really know, but yeah, good for Alex Smith. Let him enjoy the second half of his life, and let's see what he does. So kind of moving on to the NBA, the Knicks. They've been hot. They've won now 6 in a row. I mean, they currently trail the Hornets by 6 at halftime. But right now, the Knicks are in the driver's seat to make the playoffs. And let's hope for their sake that they avoid the play-in tournament. Because, right now when you look at the teams, you got the Heat. They've won 2 straight, so now they got themselves over 500. You got the Hornets there, the Pacers, and the Bulls. Now, like I said last week, I think the Knicks can definitely beat these teams. But again, I'd feel a lot more comfortable if they were playing in a 7-game series as opposed to just 1 game. But, they're playing good. Won 6 in a row. They got a little under 82% to make the playoffs. I mean, compared to the Western Conference, I mean, the East is, like we've talked about the last couple of weeks, is very top-heavy. So, I think the Knicks are going to make the playoffs. Hopefully, they avoid the play-in tournament. Right now, they're tied with the Celtics. So maybe, if they win tonight and the Celtics maybe could lose, they can jump the Celtics. And maybe, they're half game behind the Hawks. Maybe they can jump them, get to the 4 seed.
Yeah, if they win tonight.
Yeah. So
they were up by as much as 9 in this first half, and now they're down by 6 at the half.
Yeah, and also
the Hornets.
Yeah, and also, I mean, looking at the Nets, now James Harden is supposedly out indefinitely with his hamstring injury. So once again, we might not see their big 3 play. And, are we ever going to see them play? I have no idea. I really don't. But the Nets, they're going to be a tough out. They're going to be right there at the end. But who knows? Who knows?
Kenny, we have a breaking news here in this Mets-Cubs game. A grounder there to J.D. Davis at third base, throws across the diamond to Alonso. Can't scoop it. Wilson Contreras is safe with 2 outs. Eric Sogard comes in to score. It's 1-0 Cubs.
Okay. Great.
Just had to let you know, since we have a good friend with us in the studio who has the game on, shaking his head as a beloved Mets fan.
Yeah. It's a little little chatty, in the studio. But
you know what? At least we still know that. Justin, just know that the Mets are going to be a better team by the end of the night, no matter what happens with the Yankees. Even if the Yankees win, they'll probably just split tomorrow, right?
Well, yeah, they'll have a better record than the Yankees, but as of right now, so but all right, now Chad Green is in for the Yankees. And he's actually been off to a good start. He's got a .93 ERA, and opponents are hitting 103 against him.
But who gave up the homer to Bo Bichette in
well, that's
Florida?
Chad Green.
Yeah, that was Chad Green. No, but he's actually been doing okay. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, no, he's been really good this year. But I mean, when you look at we got completely off topic.
Why did Boone bring in Lucas?
Yeah, I don't.
Why did he bring in Licky?
I have no idea. I mean,
what?
Tyone was at like 80 pitches.
It's a tie game. He should have come in with Green right away. Well, not like, I mean, it's Pablo Sandoval walk, but.
Well, Tyone was at 80 pitches.
Oh, goodness. That's right.
He could have left him in for one more, no?
I don't know about that. Short leash. Very short leash.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's Aaron Boone for you.
Yeah, Charlie Morton went 99. How do you feel about that, Boone? Tyone goes 80. Okay. Boy.
Whatever.
We'll see what happens from here, Kenny. This is where things get interesting in Yankee games.
I mean, when you look at, or I guess go back to the NBA, wow, the Lakers now slipped down to the 5th seed. They got to get their guys back. They got to get LeBron and AD back. I mean, they could, if they could, how many more games left do they have? They have, they got 5 games left in April, and they got...
Everybody's got like 15 games, 13, 15 games, something like that.
Yeah, they got 15 games left.
Yeah.
Right now, the Lakers are 2 games up on the Blazers. They're 4 games up on the Mavericks, who are in the play-in tournament if the season ended today. The Lakers, if they keep struggling like this and they don't get their guys back, the Lakers could maybe possibly find themselves in the play-in tournament. I mean, I think that's...
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, it's not. That's scary.
Yeah, this is a team that, we thought was going to be top 3 in the West, but little did we know that...
but it has a lot to do with injuries.
Right, that's correct. Okay, well, here's the latest update that we have then. So Dave McMenamin, who reports for ESPN on the NBA, said, this was from yesterday, so Monday. So Frank Vogel said, head coach of the Lakers, that AD had some good work on Monday after the Lakers morning meeting. He's going to ramp up over the next couple days and could, keyword could, make his return against Dallas on Thursday. Okay, so it sounds like AD's coming back this weekend.
All right, so that's one piece of the puzzle.
I don't know about LeBron. I think LeBron's supposed to be out until the playoffs start, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
so
that's not good.
So that's another 3-4 weeks we're talking. But I'll look on that. I'll check that just to make sure.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, it could happen. The Lakers could end up in the play-in tournament, and I don't think that's something they want to do.
Yeah, there's a chance they might play the Suns in the first round. That'd be something.
Yeah, the Suns, they are really good this year. I mean, Chris Paul's really changed the culture of that team. I mean, we saw in the bubble, they went 8-0 and they just missed the playoffs. I mean, that's and there's a base hit to right field by Austin Riley. So now we got 2 guys on base with 1 out in the top of the 7th.
Here we go. Yep.
Yeah, but this, like I was saying with the Suns, 8-0 in the bubble last year. They barely missed the playoffs. I mean, I think a lot of people expected this team to be really good. They didn't start off particularly well out of the gate, but they've been playing really well, and right now they're one of the top teams in the West. And another thing, I think this happened. I don't know if this happened since the last time we were on, but Donovan Mitchell, he's actually expected to be out only till, it says at least April 24th. There's been a lot of injuries this year in the NBA, though.
Yeah, and you really wonder if that has to do with the relatively quick turnaround, because
I think it does.
The Lakers won the title in Orlando in like middle October, I think it was, second week of October. Yeah. And they had like a 72-day gap between winning the title game and then opening day.
Yeah, that's
too quick for some teams.
That is. You know, and that's, I mean, you got LeBron and AD are hurt, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray tearing his ACL. Harden's now hurt. KD's been banged up.
Yep.
I mean, these are not just...
We might not see KD, Kyrie, and Harden play again together until the playoffs. And which are coming up soon. The play-in tournament is 4 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, so...
Coming up quick.
And another thing that's coming up is the NFL draft.
Yes, that's 9 days away. 9 days.
Yeah,
whose house are we going to be looking at this time? Because Cliff Kingsbury, I think, won that debate last year, and now supposedly the Rams have bought their own beach house, or rented a beach house out for their war room. So,
yeah. So a week from today, you know, if next week's our last show,
got to do a draft preview next week.
We might have to. Yeah,
I think we should.
Might have to.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it all depends on what our final schedule is, but
yeah.
Because I know I think you were telling me you might not have anything finals week.
I should be good like actual finals week. I think we might be able to do it. We'll see.
All right.
Time permitting.
All right. I mean, I would like to have, you know, at least one more show, you know. Then we could talk about what happened in the draft. Well, actually, all right, kind of to change the subjects, something we actually didn't get to is we had another no-hitter this past week. We had which day was it? Was it Friday? No, it wasn't Friday. Saturday. When was it? Was it Thursday? When the heck was it? Am I losing my mind here? Yes, okay, it was Wednesday. Wednesday, Carlos Rodon for the Chicago White Sox threw a no-hitter. And, of course, the reason why he didn't get a perfect game, again, another hit by pitch, Roberto Perez, you know, he didn't even do anything to get out of the way.
Bounced off his foot.
Yeah. Doesn't make any effort to get out of the way. And this was with, I think, what was it, 1 out in the ninth inning? Let's see here. It was 1 out in the ninth inning. Then he strikes out Yu Zhang, and then Jordan Lumbo grounded out. But yeah, so, you know, I mean, come on. We were so close to getting a perfect game, and of course that doesn't happen. But, you know, congratulations to Rondon. I picked him up in fantasy, and he didn't have his best game, but he was able to finish 5 innings tonight. But, yeah, I mean, the last time the White Sox did something like that, you had to go back to, I think it was Mark Burley back in 2009 against the Rays. His perfect game. But,
yes. Felix Hernandez in 2012.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, specifically pertaining to the White Sox.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was their 20th no-hitter, actually. Carlos Rodon's.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been a perfect game, but
it should have.
But you know, of course,
I didn't see Joe Musgrove. Wasn't that in the 7th inning? Joe Musgrove, I think he hit Joey Gallo.
I don't know off the top of my head. But I mean, it was happening in the 9th inning.
Yeah, the one with Rodon was even worse. I tuned in to see that, and then that happens, and it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, well, you should have kept your. You should have waited till after the game to view it because, you were a jinx.
And it's funny because somebody who I, vaguely know from high school posted on his Snap story because he goes to Loyola Chicago, and he was at that game. He said that was one of the most amazing baseball experiences he's ever had.
Yeah, it's good for him, man. I mean, I wish he would have saw a perfect game. I mean, we haven't seen that in so long.
Yeah, 9 years.
Yeah, I don't know when we're ever going to see that. It's ridiculous. I mean, come on.
Maybe Garrett Cole or Jacob deGrom will throw one for City of New York. You never know.
Yeah, just got to make sure you don't leave deGrom in after 130 some pitches.
So let's see. Let's look down. Gio Urshela went for a ball. It went foul over the stands. Where are we? Bases loaded for the Braves now, Kenny?
Yeah, 0-2 the count. 1 out here in the. What is it?
Adrianza's up again. He's already got a hit tonight. I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, it's just hopefully nothing happens. Because the Yankees literally cannot score. I mean, this is ridiculous.
No, they can't. That's a big problem.
And of course, time is called. Yeah, so this is terrible. You're just waiting for this guy to get a big hit right here.
Adrianza, never heard of him.
He fouls that off again, so he's battling.
Yeah, but let's see. What were we just discussing?
The no-hitter.
Oh, right, the no-hitter. Yeah, it's terrible to see that, though. Like, get a hit by pitch, especially in the ninth inning. You're 2 outs away.
But it's worse because he made no effort to get out of the way.
I mean, clearly, we'll remember, Galarraga, I think it was
Alejandro
for the Detroit.
Galarraga.
Yeah. Now that one's gonna go past the worst one of all time.
That was the umpire. The umpire called him safe when he was clearly out. All right, so Chad Green gets a strikeout there. That's a big out.
Yep, very nice. Nicely done.
Okay.
A long battle there. Took, 4 or 5 pitches, I think? 4 pitches. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to worry about, though, is the Yankees just
he is
really using that bullpen.
He's coming out of the game. Looks like, is that Justin Wilson coming in? I think so. All right. 2 outs.
Okay, yeah. So, as I'm saying that, Boone is taking out the right-hander Green and putting in the left-hander Wilson to face Freddie Freeman. So, maybe this is not going to end badly or anything.
Yeah, it's what we like to think. We'll see what happens there.
But once again, the Yankees cannot score. So that is a reoccurring theme here.
Very true.
And then you kind of look around the league. The White Sox are up 8-2. Diamondbacks are up 3-2 over the Reds. The Orioles are up 6-3 over the Marlins. Nationals up 1-0 over the Cardinals. Phillies up 4-3 over the Giants. Giants are actually off to a pretty good start, 10-6. Red Sox are up 4-1 over the Blue Jays. The Cubs are up 1-0 over the Mets. Rays are up 4-0 over the Royals, and the Rockies and the Astros are just underway. And then games that have already happened, the A's won the first game of their doubleheader against the Twins, 7-0. Dodgers win 1-0 over the Mariners. Tigers, Pirates postponed. Later tonight, we got the second game, Athletics, Twins, and then Rangers, Angels at 9:30. And then the Brewers and the Padres at 10:10. Actually, the Cardinals just tied the game with the Nationals on a
I was just going to ask, how is Patrick Corbin doing?
He actually did good tonight.
Nice.
Did good tonight. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no earned runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. So maybe he just needed to work himself back. And now the Yankees are back on. Justin Wilson against Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman career against Justin Wilson. He's 1 for 7 with 4 walks. So hopefully Justin Wilson can get the Yankees out of this. He's actually had a good start. 4 games. He's got a 2.25 ERA. 4 innings pitched, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Opponents are batting .200 against him. So hopefully he could get us out of this inning, and maybe the Yankees could get something going in the bottom of 7th. And the first pitch is outside. Now I'm doing commentary. And then Freddie Freeman's stats on the year, he's batting .091 against lefties, .267 against right-handers. He's got 4 home runs, 8 RBIs against righties, and 1 home run and 2 RBIs.
I won't spoil anything for you.
Who, me?
Me. You're in front? I think I'm in front.
We'll see. Well, what's your yeah, you got out of the inning.
Yep.
You're in front.
Okay,
there we go.
Yeah.
Big spot there for Justin Wilson.
Okay.
Gets out of it.
All right. There we go. All right. So Yankees are able to work it out of the inning, and we go to the bottom of the 7th. They only have 3 hits again. I mean, this is not going to do it. They're doing the 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, Kenny, the offense is hardly averaging, I think, above three runs a game.
Yeah, I think Urshela has 2 hits and LeMahieu has 1.
The Yankees' highest scoring game was when Stanton hit that grand slam against the Orioles now 2 weeks ago, 7-2.
Torres is 0 for 3. Stanton's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. I mean, what is going on?
He's got 20 strikeouts on the year now.
Yeah, he's terrible. They got to get rid of him. I'm sorry. They can't do this anymore with him. I mean, what? it doesn't seem like there's any, like I said before, there doesn't seem to be any sense of urgency with this team, which specifically some of these guys, because you know what, if you keep doing this, you're not going to be in this lineup for that much longer.
And it feels like right now, like these are, you know, quote unquote early must-win games for the Yankees. Honestly, it's starting to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully the game is tied right now, so you know we're not. This game is still winnable, but I mean, come on, got to get something going here. I mean, what are we doing?
Oh yeah, so while the streak is still alive, Kenny, you know, you got me into MLB's Beat the Streak this season.
That's right.
I've heard about it for about 3-4 years. Never really decided to hop on until this year, and I was like, yeah, what the heck? I'll join it, see how it goes. And I come in tonight with a streak of 18. And Nolan Arenado already got a hit in his first at bat tonight against the Washington Nationals. So he led off.
And then
with
who was the other guy you picked?
Whit Merrifield. I actually took Whit Merrifield.
Okay.
I actually had Acuna in there, and then I forgot. Like, oh, that's right, he's day to day with his abdomen injury or whatever it was. So he's obviously not in the lineup. So I switched to Whit Merrifield, but as you said, the Rays are up 4-0. So maybe Merrifield's going to take some aggressive swing. So hopefully he doesn't strike out. I just need him to get one hit. Get the streak to 20.
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's still early.
I think he's 0 for 1.
Yeah,
right?
he's 0 for 1. But I mean, it's the bottom of the second. I mean, it's
it's really early. So, but
yeah. No, good for you, man. I mean, I'm trying to. I mean, I've been doubling down the last couple days, and I still am at 0 because you know one guy doesn't get a hit. Trout didn't get a hit yesterday. Sunday, I picked Arenado and Bogarts, and they both. Nolan Arenado went 0 for 4, and Bogarts went 0 for 3. Then I picked Betts and Seager. Seager went 0 for 4. Then it's just not going good and beat the streak. You know, I mean, it's a big payout if you get past 56. If you get to 57, you know, I mean, I think the highest was like 51 or something. So yeah, you know. And now we're back with the Yankees. Yeah, I mean, Taillon pitched good tonight. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 Ks. I mean, he pitched well, and that's encouraging for the Yankees, especially against the Braves. They're off to a slow start, but at least they Taillon pitched well, you know. So now we got A.J. Minter pitching, and he's going up against the left-hander Mike Ford, who's 0 for 2 today. Mike Ford's rocking the mustache tonight. So, and the Yankees did that in the past. I think it was like 2015, 2016. They were rocking the mustaches, and that was like the new thing at the time. I don't know. I mean, maybe they should start doing that again. I don't know, to start something, get something going. I don't know. And Ford lines one right to Freeman. So that's the first out of the inning. So Mike Ford is now 0 for 3 on the day. Yankees have 3 hits. 2 of them, Gio Urshela. 1 of them, DJ LeMahieu. This team cannot hit. And now they're showing what Michael Kay looks like with Mike Ford's mustache. Okay, that's great. That's really great. That's something we want to see. The heck? I have my flashlight on my phone? How did that happen? Anyways,
what, you can't see the microphone over there, Kenny? I got you. No.
That was a good one. Really funny.
I try. I'm trying.
Bringing the jokes out tonight. So Sanchez is now up. He's 0 for 2 today. It's just so depressing watching this team. It really is. It's just it's pathetic what we're watching right now.
Yeah, major pain. And like we keep saying, you know, it's getting to the point where it's must win. It really is.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kenny, I guess, you know, with the time that we have left, I guess to end it on the Yankees note, like we've been talking about half the show, when is it too early to start thinking about a managerial shift? Say this keeps up for like another week or two, per se. Is it too early?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm already on the fence of Boone's got to go because he just. I just feel like he's not. What happened to like the savages in the box, like all that, like that just seems like that went out the window.
That?
There's like no emotion. He just doesn't. He doesn't do anything. I don't get it. So I think so. I think Boone should. I think especially if the Yankees don't make the playoffs, I think Boone is gone. So. And now they got Jonathan Loáisiga warming up in the bullpen, so he's probably going to pitch the 8th. Maybe Urshela could do something. Maybe hit another home run, and he swings and misses, so now it's 0-2 on Urshela. So it doesn't look like the Yankees are going to do it. He leads, they're showing it now, and yes, he has 6 extra base hits this season, and that leads the Yankees. I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous. All right, well, we're at 8:59, and hopefully the Yankees can pull this one out, and Urshela is going to pop this one up, and it looks like Freeman is going to make the play. Nice play there by Freeman. So that ends the inning, and that'll end the show there. So hopefully the Yankees can turn it around. So with that, it's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us. If you stuck around with us for the 2 hours, we greatly appreciate it. We'll be back next week to talk about the NFL draft. So, yeah, that's all we got. So I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from Infinite Sports Radio with Ben Upson, saying have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.